It's the Orioles on Maston on a Labor Day weekend north of the border. Rogers Center is the site for Game 2 of the three-game set. The Orioles coming away with a big win, 10-2 in the ball game last night. For the Orioles, they still got some ground to make up, looking for that second wild card spot. 5 teams they've got to get over in order to get there. For the Jays, meanwhile, the Yankees hot on their heels. That's why this series is important for both. Hi, everybody. I'm Gary Thorne, and welcome to Toronto. Hope the Labor Day weekend is going well. Be safe. Don't drink and drive. For the Orioles, they win when they hit home runs and when they play D. Last night they did both. Last night they won. Let's start with the defense. At third base, Ryan Flaherty. This in the third inning off Josh Donaldson. That was hit hard. Outstanding out. Flaherty part of a 5-4-3 double play. That came against Martin. That would end the inning. And then the long ball, Chris Davis, second inning, his 39th of the season. But Davis was not done. This time the other way for his league-leading 40th home run of the season. Next batter up, Matt Wieters. He goes the other way and delivers the long ball. 6th inning back-to-back homers. Adam Jones would finish it off with a shot of his own. That came in the 8th inning. And the Orioles were on their way to a particularly impressive win. Mike Bordy.
Yeah, they sure did. I'll tell you what, there are games when the Orioles make it look pretty darn easy, don't they? I mean, offensively, last couple games, they have looked as good as anybody in the game of baseball. Of course, led by Chris Davis, 5 home runs over his past 3 games. But, you know, they hang their hat on their defense. Buck Showalter isn't afraid to move Ryan Flaherty around. And when you play against a great team like the Toronto Blue Jays, you better not give them extra chances. Now, they had some opportunities. Ryan Flaherty down at the hot corner really prevented the Blue Jays from getting any kind of momentum in that ball game. He came up with 2 big double plays to end the inning, and of course that nice backhanded play to take away an out there, an extra base hit from Josh Donaldson. So yeah, the defense has been there, and I think this team is confident when they're swinging the bat well, and I think they've had a very sound offensive approach here lately. Something to keep our eye on are their chases with balls in the dirt. I was talking to hitting coach Scott Coolbaugh today, and he said really that's been a problem. This is an aggressive team. They don't want to take the aggressiveness away from this offense, but limit the swings at balls just bouncing in the dirt right out in front of home plate. If it's elevated, let it fly.
Well, Mike Wright's going to be on the mound for the Orioles. He had a disastrous start against this Blue Jays team in a previous outing. He'll try and undo that. The Orioles will try and go 2-0 when we come back to Toronto. Southwest Airlines. Book your low fare now at southwest.com and by your local Mazda dealers. A glorious late summer day here in Toronto. Roofs open. Our BGE home game time temperature 79 degrees. Lots of sunshine coming in. BGE Home, Baltimore's home team for heating, cooling, plumbing, and electrical. Why would you call anyone else? Take a look at the starting lineup for the Orioles, brought to you by Southwest. Book your low fare now at southwest.com. Machado, Perrin, Jones, Davis, Pearson, Scope, Joseph, Junior Lake has started left field. Paul Yanish will be at shortstop. 4-game hit streak coming in for Manny.
Now let's take a look at David Price's pitch arsenal this season. The fastball 69% of the time. He's on cruise control around 91 to 94. He can jump it up there to 97, 98 at times with the heater. The breaking ball has the curve, but also cuts the fastball, and at times takes some pace off, and it'll act more like a slider. The changeup has become a huge pitch for David Price. 23% of the time expect a lot of the Orioles righties to see that change. 2.47 earned run average and 13-5 record for David Price this season. 188 punch-outs and 189 in the third innings of work, holding opponents down to a 234 overall batting average. Lefties a click better at 272. He's a fly ball pitcher. 59% of his outs in the air, and he has given up the 16 long balls this year. But I'll tell you what, since David Price came over to the Blue Jays, believe it or not, has better numbers in his last 6 starts with the Blue Jays. They've all been quality starts. Got the 4-1 record with a 2.28 earned run average. So he is on his game. This postseason dream has really ignited him, and he's picked up this whole team's confidence.
Now we will tell you, last night, after Adam Jones was hit by a pitch, warnings were given to the teams. The warnings have also been issued before this game has even started. Here's what happened last night. Young pitcher, Tapara, hit Jones. They did not throw anybody out, but the home plate umpire immediately warned both sides, which means another batter gets hit. If it's ruled as being intentional, both the pitcher and the manager are thrown out of the game. Well, that warning has already been given for this ball game. So both clubs know that. Tim Timmons, the crew chief, is the home plate umpire for this game. Here's Manny Machado to lead it off. David Price ready, and we're underway. He'll take the pitch for a strike. Manny coming in with that 4-game hit streak we showed you. He's done well against Price. He's had 5 hits, including a home run off this left-hander. Pitch on the way to him, and that's going to go towards center field. Pilar, with a lot of sun, will make the catch.
Let's take a look at this Blue Jays defense behind David Price this afternoon. Revere, Pilar, and Batista in the Jays outfield. Tulowitzki and Goins up the middle. Donaldson and Smoke getting the start at first base. They're on the corners, and Martin once again behind the plate.
Price comes in having lost to the Orioles once this season. His record 7-4 lifetime against the O's. Gerardo Parra stands in. 3-game hit streak. Continued it last night. He had a 1-for-5 in the ball game. Price works off that first base side. So left-handers have that sweeping motion coming in, which is why it's surprising that the average is so different in favor of left-handed hitters against Price as opposed to right-handers.
Yeah, it really is surprising. You see him lined up on that first base side, so he steps across the body as well, so creating that tough angle.
That'll be handled easily by Ben Revere, and a couple of fly ball outs to start the ball game. Parra retired. Orioles have won 2 in a row. They come in with having won 6 and lost 7 against Toronto in the year. Fan favorite here in Toronto, Adam Jones. Oh, wait a minute. Those were boos. Sorry.
I don't know why they're booing him. He's the one that got hit last night.
That's right. His little flare-up with Batista earlier in the year is one of the reasons they booed.
Adam Jones got into one last night in the season versus Toronto. 357, 4 homers, 11 RBI. Maybe that's why they're booing him.
That's a good reason. And the pitch taken outside for a ball. 277 lifetime hitter against Price. A lot of at-bats against this left-hander, who, of course, was with Tampa Bay for so long. 2 for 4, a homer, 2 RBIs last night. And there's that great throttle back pitch right there. When that's being thrown for a strike, hitters can be kept off balance by David Price.
Yeah, so hard to pick up that changeup that David Price features. The only way they're going to have success is if they continue to stay up the middle the other way, and then they'll be able to maybe pull that changeup. But if you start getting in pull mode on the fastball, he will expose you with the change.
Jones this year hitting 27 points higher against lefties than righties. and putting up astronomical numbers against Toronto, hitting .357 with 4 home runs and 11 RBIs against the Jays this year. Another sellout crowd expected here today, and they're into the ball game early to see Price pitch, and they'll roar on that one. So Price picks up the strikeout. He is 4th in the league in Ks. Retires the side in order. Mike Wright to the mound. The year, the Nose fans hoping they'll get to watch the Orioles add to that. Here's the lineup for the Jays: Revere, Donaldson, and Bautista. Encarnacion, Tulowitzki. Smoke did not play last night. Martin, Goings, and Pilar. For Josh Donaldson, MVP candidate. All kinds of magnificent numbers.
And let's take a look at Mike Wright's pitch arsenal this season. The fastball 69% of the time. Has a good two-seam fastball. Sinks it very well when works down in the zone. He can ride a four-seamer to the top as well in the mid to high 90s. A breaking ball, a slider at 20%. And that change 11% of the time. .499 earned run average, but did pick up a couple wins earlier in the season when he was called up to the Orioles. 19 punch-outs, 11 walks. So 11 walks really what set him back in his last 3 starts with the O's. Opponents hitting .263 overall. Righties just .190, but the lefties way up to .333.
Coming off the DL to make this start, last Major League game was on July 31st when he injured the calf. Ben Revere will take the pitch for a strike. Wright was appearing in relief in that game on July 31st. He only faced 3 batters. Left calf strain. He has had 2 rehab starts. AAA Norfolk allowing 1 run, 4 hits, 10 innings worked on the rehab starts. And the pitch will be away from Revere. Wright had an outing against Toronto on the 19th of June in which he gave up 4 runs, 3 hits, in just an inning and a third. He walked 4 in an inning and a third in that game against Toronto. 1-1 delivery. Revere goes to short. Yanish is there. Play made to Pierce, and they get the out. Express Stat by Express Care, a LifeBridge health partner. For location, visit whywaitinther.com.
I'll take a look at Mike Wright's season split here. Starts this seaseason. First 3 starts 2-0 with a 1.40 earned run average. And the last 3 0-3 with a 12.19. And much of that comes down to just command of the fastball. He had 3 walks in his first 3 starts and 8 walks in his last 3. Pound the zone, let him put it in play, and trust the defense behind you.
Here is Josh Donaldson. He'll go after the first pitch and foul it away. Donaldson last night had an 0 for 4. We mentioned towards the end of the ball game last night, among the top 5 hitters, Revere, Donaldson, Bautista, Encarnacion, and Tulowitzki. Those 5 combined for 1 hit, and that was a base hit by Bautista late in the ball game. 0-1 delivery on the way. If you can do what the staff did last night, Jimenez, Givens, O'Day, and Drake. If you can do that to the top part of this order, you're going to beat the Blue Jays.
Boy, I'm telling you, Ubaldo did a great job. I mean, unfortunate early exit, 5 2/3, but really controlled the top of this lineup, which is so dangerous.
That'll go to short. The shift was on, and an easy out recorded as Giannis had moved over. Donaldson retired.
Take a look at the Orioles defense here this afternoon. Behind Mike Wright, Lake, Jones, and Parra in the Orioles outfield. Giannis and Scope will be the double play combination this afternoon. Machado and Pierce on the corners, and Caleb Joseph will get the start after Matt Wieters 3 in a row. There's Ubaldo for a nice start. He appreciated the defensive help.
2 runs, 1 earned on 4 hits and 5 2/3. Pitch will be taken inside for a ball. Bautista had a 1 for 3 in the ball game last night. Again, the shift stays on in the infield. Outfield pretty much straight away on Bautista, and that pitch will be taken for a strike. Bautista is ranked 7th in home runs coming into the ball game, tied with Mark Teixeira now with 31. Bautista also among the leaders in RBIs. He is 5th with 89. Chris Davis last night, of course, moved into the lead in homers and 2nd in RBIs. 2 ball, 1 strike count. There's Chris. He's going to DH in the ball game today after playing first base last night. 2-1 count. Bautista going after one that's up in the strike zone, and the count goes to 2-2.
Well, Mike Wright letting it fly with the 4-seamers, working 97, 98 miles an hour with the fastball there at the top of the zone.
2 ball, 2 strike count. Bautista a couple of walks in the game last night as well. Lifts that one to left field, and goodbye, home run. First row, second deck.
Bautista, very dangerous hitter, and Mike Wright and Caleb Joseph thinking they had him sped up after the fastball's getting rushed up there 97 miles an hour. Tries to slow him down with that breaking ball, but it hangs in the middle of the plate, and he makes him pay. Solo shot for Bautista, 32 on the year.
He is now 7th in the league in home runs. And the pitch, Encarnacion takes it away. Bautista gets his 4th home run against the Orioles this year, and he's got 13 RBIs against the O's in this, the 14th game. Encarnacion had an 0 for 3 in the ball game. Ball will be popped up at the plate. Joseph with that high sky will look, and it will be behind the screen. Encarnacion's got the league lead in reaching base safely, 34 straight games, even though he did not pick up a base hit in the ball game last night. He did draw a couple of walks. Encarnacion has actually had more career home runs against the Orioles than Bautista. Bautista's got 23 lifetime. Encarnacion's got 28. You probably wouldn't believe unless you looked at the numbers 3 or 4 times.
Yeah, right.
You would just think Bautista's been on top. So new baseball is being acquired by Tim Timmons, home plate umpire.
Yeah, both these teams, obviously powerhouse offensive teams, but Encarnacion and Bautista do the damage against the O's, and Jones and Davis done their own share of damage against the Blue Jays.
1-1 delivery on the way. That one up in the air to center, way up in the air. Adam Jones. He'll wait on it and put it away for the out. 1 run, 1 hit, no errors, nobody left. Bautista delivers the long blow, and it is a 1-0 Jays lead. not? Celebrate the season with American Standard All-Star event. Visit MidAtlanticComfort.com for amazing rebate and financing opportunities.
Well, Chris Davis is hot indeed. Last 3 games, 6 for 13 with 5 home runs, 8 RBI. Troy Tulowitzki, not so hot. His last 3 games, just 3 for 12 with 4 punch-outs.
So Chris will stand in against David Price. He is 5 for 18 against Price. Does not have a home run against this left-hander. Shift on in the infield, and into the shift is a base hit. That'll go into the corner. Bautista after it. He'll cut it off. Big turn, forcing the throw, appropriately so. Bautista gets it in, and the Orioles have their first hit, leadoff single. Maryland Lottery contestant of the game, Ethel Caton from Waldorf, has won $500 for being selected. $500 more for every Orioles home run hit today. Play baseball buck scratch-offs today. Went up to $50,000 instantly. Learn more at mdlottery.com/baseball. So Chris on with a single. It'll bring up Steve Pearce. Pearce getting the start at first base and up in the lineup. Why? He's 5 for 15 with a home run off Price. Very short lead for Davis, and a swing and a miss. Okay. 1 for 4 last night for Steve.
David Price, he isn't afraid to throw the fastball in at all, and he will continue to pound the fastball in until somebody proves they can get it out of there. He's much more comfortable working away, and the changeup will have a better effect. But
that one goes to short. Tulowitzki Goins. 2 down.
Well, the Blue Jays have shored up their defense with the addition of Troy Tulowitzki here. The smash in the hole, but he gets in front of it on to Goins, and Goins, the easy relay on to Smoke at first. This is a bullet. Nice job getting the feet, though, around that baseball. Once it gets in the hands of Goins, it's off and completed.
So they turn 2 to take that leadoff man out. Jonathan Scope, 4-game hit streak, 2 for 5 in the ball game last night. As Jonathan continues to up the numbers, he's now flirting with that 300 batting average on the season. He's had 13 doubles, 11 home runs for the extra base hits. Big swing and a miss again on that tailing pitch away. You can see why the right-hander's average is so low against Price, with control of that pitch that's out. And then comes back in with fire on the inside at 90.
Well, saw him just do it. Steve Pearce with a fastball and then change up away. Scope gets the change up away and then the fastball in.
1 ball, 2-strike delivery on the way. And a swing and a miss. I'll tell you one thing for David Price. He's been the slowest pitcher in the majors this year. He is not pitching that way in this game. Time later in our game today, brought to you by Miller Lite. Toronto Harbor, later on when we talk about this day in baseball, way off on the right on the island out there. An historic baseball moment occurred in 1914. If you want to know more, stay tuned. Why? Because we need viewers. Because they check every 15 minutes to see if you're still watching. Here's Troy Tulowitzki. Tulowitzki had an 0 for 5 in the ball game last night. Mike Wright with the infield shifted. Up high with a fastball he went after at 94. Tulowitzki with the 4 home runs and 13 RBIs on the year, with the solid piece of the defense that this ball club had long been looking for at that shortstop position. And a swing and a miss on another in the same place.
A couple extra miles an hour on the heater. 94 on the first fastball, 96 right there, just climbing the ladder.
Told you both teams had been warned about throwing at batters. Dug out the official rule on that and what that means. Here's the 0-2 pitch. Foul back. The intentional warning is about hitting a batter intentionally. It's the umpire's judgment whether or not that happens in a game. If the umpire believes it has, he can expel the pitcher or the manager and the pitcher, or he can just warn them. I didn't know that. I thought he had to throw him out if he thought it was intentional, automatically get thrown out of the game. It's not automatic. Even if he thinks it's intentional, he can issue another warning. And even if that happens, he can throw out either the pitcher without the manager or the pitcher and the manager. Now, last night, Buck Showalter came out to argue when the warning was issued in the game, and Tim Timmons kept pushing him back with his hand towards the bench, go back, go back. Another thing I didn't know, if you cannot argue a warning call, and if you come out, you're thrown out of the game. So Timmons was trying to keep Showalter in the game last night, telling him, go back. You can't come out here and argue this, because if you do, I got to throw you out of the game.
Yeah.
Tim was on the field last night down there at first base. He's behind the plate in this one.
And Buck's judgment on that call was that the pitcher should have been thrown out of the ball game.
Yeah.
If you're going to issue warnings, and then it resulted in the warnings issued today, obviously there must have been intent in the umpire's mind that he was hitting him on purpose.
Yeah.
Well, throw him out of the game if that's what you think.
I love it, don't you? 2-ball, 2-strike count. And again, go up a little higher, and he kept going, gets a strikeout.
Well, there you go. 1 through 3 fastballs up in the zone here, 98 miles an hour. Right and up and out of the zone. So we'll get Tulowitzki in the first out of the second.
Smoke did not play in the ball game last night. The switch hitter has not had a hit in his last 11 at-bats. Orioles have seen a good deal of Justin Smoke in his time in the Great Northwest with Seattle. 13 homers, 45 RBIs. Shift put on the other way. And the fastball will be up high to him. Justin Smoke trying to get the bat going with that 0 for 11 under his belt, and tough to do when you're not playing on a regular basis. He is in and out of the lineup depending on, in large part, lefty righty and the numbers against the opposing pitcher. That'll be inside for a ball, 2-0.
Now you see the numbers here versus left-handed pitching, just a 203 batting average, but right-handers very solid 308.
2-0 count. Smoke will go after it, fouls it off the other way. Count goes to 2-1. Orioles trying to make it 3 in a row and even up the season series against Toronto. The Orioles have won the last 3 games against the Blue Jays, and all played here at Rogers Center for that 3-game win streak that they have going. 2-1 delivery by Wright. That time he got it down, fouled off, and Joseph piece of that one on the foul ball. 2-2, Wright asking him if he's all right.
Yeah,
Joseph saying no, but what's that got anything to do with it?
Yeah, it's like to see Mike Wright driving that fastball downhill, keeping it down by the knees. He has some life, obviously, up at the top of the zone, but too many fastballs elevated here in the early going. He'll be much more effective if he can pound the bottom of the zone.
And that one is going to be up high as well. So the count will go full, 3-2. Smoke has done a great job getting runners in. He's .328 with runners in scoring position year for this ball club. So he's come through in that department well above his season .215 average. 3-2 delivery on the way, and he got a hold of that one. That's going to go into the corner. Power's got a long run. Bounces off the wall. He's not fast. He's going to try for two. Here's the throw. One hopper, not in time. A double. That's why he's in there.
Yeah, turn that one around. Smoke getting on it, beating the shift, much like Chris Davis. A one hopper off the wall, and you take your chances running against Parra, but Parra was slid over more towards right center. Takes him a step or two longer to get to that ball, and Justin Smoke picks up his 12th double.
Second hit of the ball game for Toronto. And that will bring up Russell Martin, their catcher. 279 with runners in scoring position for Martin. 30 points plus higher than his 244. Good breaking ball thrown by Wright on the first pitch for a strike. Martin had a 2 for 4 in the ball game last night. 270 this year against the Orioles. Infield D with one down, double play depth off this carpet. 0-1 breaking ball, just catches the corner on the inside. Good pitch, 0-2.
Yeah, backed up a little bit. Nice job by Caleb. Catching it on the plate, getting the second strike call.
Smoke will get a good secondary lead, not trying to hold him close. Here's the 0-2 delivery, and Martin will take the fastball outside. 1 ball, 2 strike count. Russell Martin, and we talked about last night, wherever he's gone with different ball clubs, first year he's with them, they go to the playoffs, and he's trying to continue that streak here with Toronto. Toronto, though, is only a half a game up on the Yankees after last night's play. 1-2 delivery, and that'll be up high. And that'll take the count to 2-2. The Orioles, of course, after that second wild card spot, have got to pile up W's. They got 5 teams they have to pass. Texas, Minnesota, the Angels, Tampa Bay, and Cleveland are all ahead of them for that second spot, which is held by Texas right now. 2 ball, 2 strike count. And the other way foul.
Yeah, the Orioles, obviously going to be paying attention to the scoreboard with so many teams in front of them, but all they can do is continue to play good baseball and hope that they stay well-rounded and consistent, both at the pitching front and the offensive front.
Smoke edging off second base. 2-2 delivery on the way, and that's a bouncer. Joseph, runner will move up. He kept the ball as close as he could for a moment, and then when it hit the ground, it just squirted away. Wild pitch first for Wright.
Yeah, spiking the breaking ball. And Caleb, not expecting that one. Didn't quite get in front of it. Smoke with a nice read in the third base.
So now that changes the whole complexion of the at-bat. Now Martin's job, anything to get that run in. The infield is going to play in. Smoke is not a speedy runner. No, you do not expect he's going to go on contact on a ground ball here. Martin with a 3 ball, 2 strike count, 1 away, infield in. And a swing and a miss. There's a big second strikeout for Mike Wright.
Two-seam fastball, 92 miles an hour. Good movement. Ends up on that inner third, and Martin just swinging over the top of that late moving heater.
Toronto hitters early against Wright are anxious, are they not?
They sure are.
They're going after anything that looks good, and what always looks good is that pitch up around the eyeballs. So now 2 down. The infield can back up except at third base. Manny Machado is back at third for this game, is in, even with the bag. Pitch will be a strike on the outside corner. Ryan Goings has got good speed at the plate, 0 for 2 in the ball game last night. hitting in the number 8 spot. Good year against the Orioles still. He's got a .310 average this year against the Orioles, way over that .245 season average he has. 0-1 pitch by Wright. Good heater, 96.
Now slow him down with that first pitch breaking ball. Quality pitch to get ahead, and then 96 just by him at the top of the zone.
That allows Manny Machado to back up at third base. Last night, Toronto went just 1 for 10 with runners in scoring position and stranded 12 in the game. 0-2 delivery. And they are the number 1 team in the majors with runners in scoring position at .290. They've got one there in Smoke, but there are 2 away.
And the Orioles came up with some big plays defensively to put a stop to the Blue Jays charge. All those opportunities last night. Came up with a couple big double play balls.
1-2 delivery on the way by Wright, and a swing and a miss as he tailed it away. So Mike Wright comes through. He strikes the side out. No runs on 1 hit, no errors, and 1 left on base. Great pitch. It remains 1-0 Jays. John Gibbons, the manager, a very funny human being. Here's what he said. Superstition? Who's superstitious? Liberal leader Justin Trudeau, there are elections going on, was here last night. The Jays lost. NDP leader Thomas Mulcair was here. They lost 4-3. Prime Minister Stephen Harper was here. They lost to the Indians. After the game, John Gibbons said, stay away. He was worried about that last night. He was telling me before the game, he says, you know, we're 0 for 2 and the politicians are here. Now they're 0 for 3. And a strike taken by Caleb Joseph.
Are there any more politicians left in that?
We tried to find some. Joseph getting the start. Wieters was behind the plate last night. And the pitch taken inside. 0 for 5. A lifetime against David Price. 1-0 lead for Toronto, top of the 3rd inning. Just to show, apparently, how much Matt Wieters needs some time off after he's caught. Wieters is not in the lineup yet. He's got a .341 batting average against David Price in his career with a home run.
Yeah,
that's a tough call for Buck Showalter. You really have to DH him, but then what do you do with Chris Davis? You try to get Steve Pearce in some games. Swing and a miss by Joseph, so Wieters out of this one, which would lead you to believe that Buck wants to have Wieters back behind the plate for the ball game tomorrow afternoon.
Right.
By the way, pitching change tomorrow for Toronto. Mark Burley is not going to start Sunday's game. Marco Estrada will pitch. Joseph will foul it back. It'll be Chris Tillman against Estrada. to wrap up the 3-game set. 12:30 O's extra, 1 o'clock for the ball game. It's a day game.
Now, they pushed Burley back. He was supposed to start today.
Yeah, twice now.
Yeah.
What does that mean?
If there's anything going on there.
Exactly. I don't think you push Mark Burley maybe once, but twice. Price is working on a regular 4 days rest. There's that tremendous off-speed pitch.
Really mixed it up in this at bat against Caleb Joseph. Caleb seeing everything in his arsenal and finishes him off with the big curveball. Well located down and in. He's speeding the right-handers up with the fastball and then getting them with that breaking ball and the change.
Price is 8-1 in games he's pitched here in this ballpark in his career. Not necessarily in a Jays uniform. Lake gets a base hit. Price got that one up, and Junior Lake on top of it. He'll go to second base. Revere will get it in, and Lake gets a 1-out double here in the 3rd inning. And boy, did he rip that one.
Yeah, loud noise on contact there. Junior Lake picking up his 7th double of the year. And this is turning and burning. Donaldson jumps up, but it's in the outfield by the time his feet get on the ground. That ball was smoked.
So the Orioles get a chance to tie this ball game up as Lake, who came over from the Cubs and the Hunter deal, is on. And here is Giannis getting the start at short. His 6th start for the Orioles at shortstop. Giannis batting 9th, 1 out. Runner on at second base. Price's delivery to him. Giannis first ball hitting right center field. Pilar is over. Runner tags. Lake will go. Throw is going to come to the cutoff man, and Lake will advance on the 2nd out of the inning. Well, time is running out for your chance to bid on the official Orioles Maryland license plate numbers 2130 and 2131, celebrating Cal's 20th anniversary of the historic mark. Join in the Iron Man memories and support the Orioles Charitable Foundation. The bidding will close tomorrow evening at 10. Go to Orioles.com/2131 to place your bids. Manny Machado flied out first time up. Runner on at third base. There are 2 down. The Orioles a solid 5 for 10 last night with runners in scoring position. Machado will take the pitch inside for a ball. Manny at 308 in these situations this year. He's continued to climb that number along with his overall average. Lake over at third base. Outfield pretty deep. Move to right a bit. And he will follow back.
Well, you see how Price is working, cutting the fastball in there and then trying to dot one on the plate, 95 miles an hour. So speed the hitters up, try to get that front hip cleared, and then the changeup and the breaking ball become much more effective on that outside corner.
5 for 19 against Price with a home run for Manny. Thought about reaching, but he held the bat back. Manny's got a streak of his own going against the Blue Jays. He has scored a run in 8 straight games against the Jays. Means, of course, he's getting on base. And is he ever? Hitting .392 against Toronto this year with 3 home runs. Runner off third, 2-1 delivery on the way, and that one is on the outside corner for a strike. Tim Timmons, home plate umpire, much like Chris Sagal last night. Pretty straight strike zone, but on close pitches, the pitchers historically have had the advantage on getting calls like that. Here's the 2-2 delivery on the way. Manny takes. Price doesn't get that one. 3-2.
Well, Martin wanted to make sure that home plate umpire Tim Timmons had a good look at it. Holds the glove for an extended period of time. Work that fastball away. It's just off that edge.
Here's the 3-2 delivery. Machado takes it and he's on. So the Orioles keep the inning going with runners on at first and third. And it's time for you to tweet your strongest fan photo. Use O's Couch Cam, and you just might see yourself in an upcoming broadcast. Brought to you by T-Mobile. Few day games today. Yankees without Mark Teixeira against Tampa Bay. Yankees have won 6 out of 7 since Teixeira has been out of the lineup. And they are 9-5 against Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay's got an early 1-0 lead. More against Eovaldi in that game. Ground ball back to the mound. Price makes the flip. Parra is retired, and so are the Orioles. No runs, 1 hit, no errors. 2 are left on base. Washington pinch hit walk-off home run versus Atlanta, the first in franchise history for the Nationals. The Giants 7 straight losses, longest losing streak this late in the year since September of '93. Dodgers ahead of them. Joe Kelly of Boston is the first Red Sox pitcher to win 7 consecutive starts since 2007. They're in last place, but you don't want to be playing the Red Sox right now.
No, you don't. Putting runs on the board. Kelly's hot. Man.
Kevin Pillar stands in. Pillar 2 for 4 in the ballgame last night. Toronto center fielder in the top of the order. Wright's delivery to him will be a strike on the outside corner. Pillar also fine year against the Orioles. .333 with a couple of home runs. Mike Wright with the 0-1 pitch. That ball, a changeup, he got way out in front of, turns it foul.
That really slowed that one down. 73 miles an hour on that pitch. Pillar got the foot down and then saw the beach ball coming in. Reloaded. Swung so hard his hands came off the bat.
Second on the team in multi-hit games. Pillar's got 37 of them this year. That's pretty amazing with this lineup. Wright worked him back outside, and that'll be fouled off. Count stays at 2 strikes on Pillar.
You know, with all the big names here on this Blue Jays team and the incredible offensive production, Pillar kind of goes unnoticed, but he has been a big part of their success this year, not only offensively but defensively. Helped shore up their outfield. Pompey went down with an injury. They tried Colabello in the outfield, but Pillar has maintained his consistency really in every aspect of the game.
0-2 delivery back inside, and again he goes up and turns on it and fouls it off. This Toronto team, and all the offense they've put up, particularly in the second half, continues to be up there at the top in just about every offensive category. They are 3rd in average but 1st in runs. And that one he reaches for, goes to left field for a base hit. Well, what an at bat. He's going to make a big turn and force the throw and goes back. You talk about adjusting. He adjusted all over the place in that at bat.
Yes, he did. Mike Wright hasn't thrown many changeups in this ball game, but Pillar gets one here. Look at how he stays with the pitch. He's behind with 2 strikes and does what he has to do put this ball in play. Now, granted, the changeup stayed on the middle of the plate. It was up a little bit. And a good piece of hitting there by Pilar.
That's not an accident. We saw him do that last night.
Yeah.
On off-speed pitches. Here's Rivera, the leadoff batter. Rivera grounded out his first time up. Real good speed at the plate. Machado's in at third. Does not show bunt. And the pitch will be taken away for a ball. Then Rivera checking with Luis Rivera down at third base coach, as is Pilar. 1-0 lead Toronto. They've got 3 hits in the ball game now. Right, the long hold. Ball put up in the air. Right field. Parra shading. Struggling a bit. Puts it away. Pilar goes back to first base. Next Saturday, the Orioles take on the Royals in a special 1:05 afternoon game. First 20,000 fans 15 and over will receive the Birdland knit scarf. You can get your tickets at Orioles.com or 888-848-BIRD next Saturday, day game 1:05. Here's Donaldson. The MVP chant goes up in Toronto each time Donaldson comes to the plate, and appropriately so. He lined out his first time up to short. Donaldson now with Chris Davis are the only 2 American League players to have 100 RBIs. Donaldson's got 112. Chris, with the RBIs last night, has reached the 100 mark. And he also leads the league in home runs. Donaldson has 36 of those. He's third in long balls in the AL. That'll be in the dirt. Good stop by Joseph.
That was just a few games ago. Donaldson and Chris Davis were tied for home runs, and then 5 home runs later, Chris Davis takes over the home run lead in that 100 RBI category once again.
Short lead at first base. 2-0 delivery on the way to him. Donaldson fooled. He hitched and then went after it.
Take a look at runs batted in. The American League leaders. There's Donaldson with 112. Chris Davis up over 100. And Morales 99 with KC. Encarnacion and Batista with the Blue Jays will be getting to 100 soon.
2-ball, 1-strike count. Pilar with 1 away, lead at first. Throw over to get him back. If the MVP voting took place today, I would vote for Donaldson as American League MVP.
Yeah, I would think so. I mean, seems to have become a team leader here with the Blue Jays. Best records in baseball. Very consistent in all aspects of the game.
Up high. 3-ball, 1-strike count. Mike Trout's name continues to be raised, but if the Angels don't make it, it matters so much on what the team does in a lot of that voting for those regular season awards. And the Angels looking for a wild card spot. They are at home against Texas. Another team looking for a wild card spot. 3-1 delivery to Donaldson. Check swing. Did he go? No. He gets a walk. First surrendered by Wright. 2 on, 1 down. And that'll bring up Bautista. And with that, a look at our Jeep inside the numbers.
Yeah, most games with 4 or more home runs since 2014. The Orioles, 13 of those games. Blue Jays behind the Mets with 10. Of course, Batista a big reason for that. Donaldson and Encarnacion.
Dangerous situation for Wright and the Orioles. 2 on, 1 down, and Bautista's already picked up his 32nd home run in the first inning. The only run on the board right now. 2 on and 1 away. Bautista going to center field. Jones going back, can't get it. It'll take a hop up and over. 2 runners are right behind each other, but Luis Rivera says, hang on. Only one of you can score. So the ground rule effect saves a run, at least for the moment. But Bautista's got an RBI. Pilar scores 2-0.
Oh, Bautista seeing Mike Wright pretty good right now. Home run in his first at bat. And a bullet beating Adam Jones deep here. Caleb Joseph wants it down and away. It's elevated up and out over. He gets that front foot down and covers this baseball one hop and out of the Rogers Center.
90 RBIs for Bautista. And Mike Wright, 2 runs, 4 hits off him, in trouble here in the 3rd inning. He's got Encarnacion now. So exactly what did not happen last night is happening in this game, and that's the top 5 in the order are highly offensive again. Infield is drawn in with 1 away. Encarnacion flied out his first time up. And the pitch hit him. Just nicked him. He didn't want to give up the at bat. He still doesn't. Or maybe not. No, there he goes. He hung around home plate. He really wanted to hit. So he'll go down, and they're loaded.
Just grazed that elbow. Pat Encarnacion frustrated. There's some RBI out there. I think that's what he's probably more upset about, his chance to drive in a couple runs with the 2-seam fastball riding in, and he just keeps the elbow out there, gets a piece, base is loaded.
7th time he's been hit. First hit batter by Wright. So Wright has had his first wild pitch and his first hit batter here in this game. They are loaded. Tulowitzki, a strikeout victim, his first time up. Outside, Joseph having to go out to get it. 1-0 with 1 down, and the bullpen beginning to scurry a bit for the Orioles. Base runners on the walk, Donaldson, double Bautista, hit batter on Encarnacion. And Tulowitzki trying to put up some big numbers, crooked numbers right here. 1-0 pitch on the way, and he'll follow back.
Well, Mike Wright got him on fastballs at the top of the zone in his first at bat. 3 fastballs. Kept climbing the ladder. I think Tulowitzki's numbers with the bases loaded, though, pretty impressive over his career.
Big moment, obviously, in this ball game. Jason Garcia limbering up. Has not started to throw. 1-1 delivery on the way, and Tulowitzki will foul that one back. So Wright gets ahead of him here with a ball and 2 strikes. With 1 away, strikeout or ground ball would be a big help for Mike Wright. The infield will back up to double play depth with a 1-2 count. Here's the 1-2 delivery, and Tulowitzki takes it way up high. Wright just cannot stay down in the strike zone.
Yeah, a lot of fastballs up at the top. Now that one probably intentional, maybe not that high up and out of the zone. But a lot of pitches elevated by Wright. Need to work the bottom part of the zone. It'll help the off-speed pitches play up. You can ride the fastball up to the top effectively. Too many, and you're living in the danger zone.
2-2 delivery on the way, and Tulowitzki on a breaking ball is strikeout victim number 4, and there are 2 down.
A nice breaking ball, probably his best in the ball game here. Stays on the plate until the bitter end, and then it just down and away into the dirt. Gets Tulowitzki off balance, reaching for the breaking ball. Big second out.
So trying to work his way out of a tough inning. Opportunity to do so right here. Justin Smoke had a double and was left stranded his first time up. Blue Jays 1 for 4 in these situations early in the game. 2 down. Smoke takes it. It is outside for a ball. Wright able to work through the second inning when Smoke got a 1-out double, and then he struck out Martin and Goings. Now he's trying to get it done again here in the 3rd inning. Infield shifted. Scope out in shallow right field. And that pitch is going to be in there for the high strike call. 1-1.
Take that to get back into the count. Borderline pitch goes his way. Mike Wright, as we showed early in the game, kind of a tale of two seasons. He got off to an incredible start for the Orioles. 14 1/3 scoreless innings before runs started to cross the plate. But his last three outings, the game kind of sped up on him. Lost command of his fastball, issuing more walks. Right now, he's got to take the time and take one pitch at a time and get a quality pitch if he wants to get out of this jam.
Smoke 328 on the year with runners in scoring positions. Got 3 on the paths. 2-1 delivery to him. Puts it up in the air. It's playable. Down the line, Lake. He's there and he's got it. And again, Wright finds a way out of the inning. No runs and a couple of hits. The bases are left loaded. Our Mazda do-ups. Jones, Davis, and Pierce. To you by Southwest Airlines. Book your low fare now at southwest.com. And by PNC Bank, for the achiever in you. Gary Thorne and Mike Wardick here in Toronto with the sun shining through and the roof open. And a 2-0 lead for the Jays. A run on 2 hits in that third inning. David Price on the mound. He has walked 1, struck out 3. Wright has a walk and 4 strikeouts. 2-4-0 for the Jays. 0-2-0 for the Orioles. Adam Jones, strikeout victim his first time up, will lead it off against David Price. Left-hander way outside. Second time through the order is the only time this year where the numbers on Price have jumped up. First time through, hitters hit 207. Second time, 265. Then the third time through, it drops back down to 220. Places that one for a strike at the knees on the outside corner. Jones, Davis, and Pierce do up.
Well, one thing David Price has done throughout his whole career is the ability to read hitters. Have a sense of what they're looking for, what they're trying to do with the baseball. A big reason why he's had so much success.
2-ball, 1 strike count. He's after his 100th major league win in this game. He's got 99 wins and 56 losses. So it is one of those landmark numbers in the game of baseball for a pitcher to hit the 100 mark. Just turned 30 years old.
Yeah, and most of those wins in the American League East.
Yep.
Which is pretty impressive.
2-ball, 2 strike count. Then as watching the winner from last night. Jones will foul it off. We talked about the pace here. On the season coming into the game, David Price was taking over 26 seconds between pitches, slowest in the majors. I don't think, just watching, he's anywhere close to that in this game.
It seems like he has a better tempo. Of course, Mark Burley, one of the quickest pitchers you'll ever see work.
But we won't get to see him work. 2-2 delivery on the way outside. The whole crew just went, nah.
Yeah. Yeah, David Price, I think, learned taking his time out there, obviously coming up with the Tampa Rays. They notoriously take the time. They've sped up much more this year because the league kind of got on them. But
Jones is on. That's a leadoff walk for the Orioles, and that will bring up Chris Davis, base hit first time up, and take a look at our Maryland Live Casino inside the numbers.
Yeah, 40 more home runs, 100 more RBI in a season since 1954. Gentleman Jim Gentile did it in 61. Frank Robinson, Brady Anderson, Palmeiro. Davis, franchise record with 53 home runs back in 2013. Well, this year, 40 home runs, 100 RBI. The first player to achieve it twice with the Orioles. Pretty impressive stuff.
And here he is with a runner at first base. And the pitch will be taken inside. Picked up a base hit his first time up. 4-game hit streak for the Oriole DH today, Chris Davis. Orioles have had the leadoff man on now 2 out of the 4 innings against David Price, who retires 70% of leadoff batters. Swing and a miss. Move that one even further down and away. 1-1.
Yeah, great ability to cut the fastball. Still hold pretty good velocity, 90 miles an hour. When we talk about the cross-body delivery and on that first base side, it's an impressive angle as it cuts across the plate.
Now they will move into the shift. They just did that after that last pitch with the count going to 1-1. Leadoff man on at first base. Jones, pretty good lead. Davis will take the pitch up high. And a 2-1 count.
Take a look at Chris Davis's hits by direction. 19 to left, 41 to center field, 63 to right. Still the great ability to drive the ball with power all over the yard. Last night, the opposite field homer.
Mano a mano at 96. And the count goes to 2-2. Josh Donaldson moved over from third base in the shift to the shallow right field position and immediately looked up. The sun's at a different angle on him.
Right.
He was trying to get a read on exactly what he was looking at. Swing and a miss, and Price gets his 4th strikeout.
Well, located the cutter again to get Davis swinging through. The second pitch, cut fastball, and finishes him off. 92 with a cutter down and away. It's on the side. See the cut action. Davis just dipping underneath that heater.
Now Steve Pearce. Steve hit into a double play his first time up. Jones on at first base, 1 down. And Pearce will take the pitch for a strike inside corner. Thought it might have been up and in as he turned to Tim Timmons, home plate umpire.
Yeah, he didn't like that. Don't give him extra inches on the inside part of the plate.
Steve hitting just $125 against Toronto this year. Pitches outside on the corner. Wow. 0-2. Couple of almost unhittable pitches right there. Called for strikes.
Yeah, you get it inside corner, get it about an inch off, and Steve turns around, says, come on, you can't give him that. And there you go. About an inch off the outside corner.
0-2 delivery on the way. And that one way outside. A 1-2 count. Steve's numbers this year against Toronto, just the opposite of what he has generally done lifetime. He's a .318 hitter against Toronto and 200 points lower this year. 1-2 count. Jones extends the lead a half a step. And the pitch will be up and in. 96 backs off 2-2.
I don't think David Price worries at all about scouting reports. Yeah, he'll pay attention, watch hitters, Watch what they try to do, but he doesn't vary off his strengths too often. He knows what he can do, and he executes that consistently and has done it for a long time.
7th start as a Blue Jay, 28th overall this year for Price. 2-2 delivery. Pierce fouls it off. How good he is has been reflected in the wins by his team. 2 teams this season have gone 19-8 in starts David Price has made for them. And as Mike said, his numbers over here even better than they were before the deal. 2 balls, 2 strikes. 1 down. Jones the lead at first. Steve Pearce reaching away.
Well, we've seen him work that fastball in the low 90s, and then he does have the ability to pop it up there. The high 90s, 97 there, riding up and away to Steve Pearce. Think about anything else, and that ball is by you.
So 2 strikeouts after the walk. 5 in the game. Jonathan Scope, a strikeout victim, his first time up. Rice, a comebacker. And out of the inning. No runs, no hits, no errors. 1 left on base. We go to the bottom of the 4th. The Jays on top 2-0. League debut, he struck out 15 in the complete game win. And we told you earlier, history made here in Toronto. 1914, Babe Ruth was playing for the Triple-A Providence Grays, playing at a ballpark right here in the harbor in Toronto. And he hit his first professional home run. That's a view of the ballpark looking out. There was an amusement park there, and there's the plaque that marks the spot at Hanlon's Point. It was his only minor league home run. Babe Ruth got it here in Toronto. And a clipping from the story that day, Babe Ruth, note in quotes, he held them and helpless in the first spasm and delivered the home run. Pretty good. There's only minor league homer hit right here in Toronto at Hanlon's Point Stadium.
Pretty good stuff there.
So there you go.
He was actually considered more of a pitcher when he was younger.
That's what they thought he was going to be. Then he started hitting all those home runs as a pitcher, and they said, hey, you got to play every day. Here is Russell Martin at the plate. Martin struck out his first time up. One walk, 4 strikeouts for Mike Wright. 2-1 delivery on the way to him. Breaking ball tied him up for a strike. Another thing in that ballpark at Hanlon's Point, May 9 of 1910, the first baseball game was played at that ballpark, minor league ballpark. Guess who was there? The Baltimore Orioles. That'll go to short. Yanish is up and records the out on Martin. One away. Well, you can register now for the Longevity Foundation's Breathe Deep Baltimore 5K walk. Raises funds and awareness for lung cancer in memory of the O's late Public Relations Director Monica Pence Marlowe. It's going to be on Saturday, October 3 at the ballpark. Proceeds benefit the nonprofit efforts in research. You can register and get information by going to Orioles.com/longevity. Goings up, strikeout victim is first time up. That first ball game at that Hanlon's Point Stadium here in Toronto, the Orioles and the Toronto Maple Leafs, AAA baseball team, almost 13,000 on hand for that game.
Wow.
1-0 delivery on the way, and that's going to be lashed into left field. Lake going over to get it. Making the turn. Goings has got good speed. Lake's arm accurate, but not in time.
Well, the turf gets a little bouncy when the dome's open and the sun's beating on it, but may have had a shot to gun him down. You see, he kind of plays it cautiously, a little deeper down that line instead of more aggressive angle. Pretty good throw to second base and almost gets Goins anyway. Maybe a tighter line to the baseball. Give him a better shot. Goins picking up his 13th double of the season.
It is a 1-out double here in the fourth inning. Lake getting the start out there in left field, his third for the Orioles. Here is Pilar, base hit, run scored in the third inning. Another RBI chance and a strike on the outside corner. Home run by Bautista in the first, RBI double Bautista in the third, accounting for the 2 runs on 5 hits against the Orioles' Mike Wright. Look back to second, swing and a miss on a pitch up and way away. 0-2.
Works it off that first strike. First pitch fastball on the outside corner. Push it out there a little bit further and see what happens. Well, gets Pilar to bite. Chase out of the zone. Go to work expanding here. Don't leave anything on the plate.
Scope holding the runner at second base a bit. Here's the 0-2 delivery and a timeout. Not sure who actually asked for that. He didn't point to the catcher, so I guess it wasn't Caleb.
Right.
But Pilar never left the batter's box. Try it again, 0-2. Wright's delivery, punched at, again a pitch away. That time he was able to reach it and holds the count at 2 strikes.
Take a look at this swing here, protecting that fastball up and away. Stay short. Sometimes the high pitch a little bit easier to get to.
Wright has really had to work here in his 8th game, 7th start. Every inning. 0-2 pitch on the way, and that's going to be a base hit into right field. Parra, runner held at third. Cutoff man overthrown and gets away, but the runner will stay. So Pilar is 2 for 2 in the ball game. Runners at first and third. That ball almost ricocheted off the bat that's laying out in front of the plate.
Takes the slider the other way. Parra up and gunning to home, but ties Caleb up. Yeah, the bat was out in front of the plate, and it did come very close. I wonder if Caleb was a little worried about that making contact there.
The first time you'd see a ball go off the bat out and off the bat in on the same at bat. All right, another big moment, and again Wright pitching under pressure. Leadoff batter Ben Revere 0 for 2. He's 0 for 7 in the first 2 games, first and third. and only one away. That is going to be in there. Breaking ball in for a strike. Wright's pitch count already up to 72. So we're going to see a good deal of the Oriole bullpen again in this game. Infield in. Middle infield will take a ground ball for 2. 0-1 pitch on the way. That's going to go to the hole, and it's a base hit. Runner will go to third. Parra was not going to have a play anyway. So an RBI for Ben Revere, bringing home Goins, and a 3-0 Toronto lead.
Now the middle of the Orioles infield shortened up a little bit in between pitches. That one just gets by the diving effort of Jonathan Scope. Goins able to score easy. That run, a big run for the Blue Jays, and defensively the Orioles were thinking if it was a chopper on the turf, of course Revere with the good speed, probably very tough to double up. So if it was going to be a chopper, they were going to come home and cut that run down. Shortening up the defense ends up leading to a run anyway.
So Revere picks up the RBI. It's his 6th, just his 6th of the year. Garcia up for the second time with Dave Wallace out to have a word with Mike Wright. And still in a jam. Runners are on at first and third. 2 for 6 now with runners in scoring position for Toronto. A lot of gum chewing going on in a rapid manner. Donaldson has drawn a walk. He has lined out. 3 runs, 7 hits for the Jays. Also drawn a walk in the ball game, the only one surrendered by Wright. Donaldson will take it on the inside corner for a strike. Tampa Bay's increased their lead 3-0 over the Yankees. Half game behind Toronto for the division lead. 0-1 count, Josh Donaldson. He'll put it up in the air, right field, long run Parra. Scope going over. Parra wants it, makes the catch. Runner tags, forces the throw, hits on the money, and the runner will go back. Pilar back to third base. So a short fly ball gives Wright a chance again to get out of the inning, surrendering only a run.
Got away with one there. Hanging slider that Donaldson pops up short enough for Parra to come and get it. Keep Pilar at third base. So big break.
And again, the dangerous situation, Bautista. He came up with a couple on in the third inning, got an RBI double, came up with 2 down, nobody on in the first inning, and got his 32nd home run of the year. So Bautista has now picked up 14 RBIs against the Orioles this year. 1 per game. 2 down, first and third. Orioles shift the infield. Bautista's got that whole right side, goes after a pitch away.
Bautista does have the ability to shoot the ball the other way. Maybe not early in a count, but certainly as the count deepens, he falls behind. He'll open up and use the whole field.
First in walks, 5th in RBIs, 7th in home runs. 0-1 pitch to him. That'll be in the dirt. Joseph makes the stop on it. And a 1-ball, 1-strike count on Bautista. .23 career home runs now against the Orioles. 1-1. Wright's delivery to him. Breaking ball. That'll miss outside. 2-1.
See Bautista slapping that front leg a little heavy on the front side. If your front side goes too hard, your upper body goes with it. That's when hitters get in problems. It's okay if that front side goes, but you got to keep the upper part of your body and your head back.
2-1 pitch on the way. their first strike. Bautista taking it, and the count goes to 2-2. First and third with 2 outs. Can Wright hold this yet again to another 1-run inning? And he'll step off. Bautista, 18 home runs here, 14 on the road. About 20-point higher average here at home. 2-2 pitch. Popped him up right field. Parra, he's got it. And again, Wright salvages what could have been a lot worse inning. 1 run on 3 hits with 2 left on base. 3-0 Jays.
Donnie Hart working his way through the Orioles system. 19 games with Delmarva. That's low A. 1-1 with a 2.12 earned run average. 10 saves in his 10 opportunities. So he gets promoted to high A. 27 games with Frederick. 5 wins. 1.03 earned run average. Picked up 3 saves. Well, it's promoted to double A. He's pitched 1 inning there. And it was a scoreless inning for Bowie. So Donnie Hart, we talked about him the other day going to the Arizona Fall League. Going to be 25 years old tomorrow. He's a 27th round pick back in 2013, and he is working his way through the organization.
And we go to the 5th inning. 3-7-0. Toronto 0-2-0 for the Orioles. David Price, the left-hander, holding the O's to just those 2 hits. Single by Davis, double by Lake. Joseph, Lake, and Yanish due up. Caleb to short on the hop to Tulowitzki. Be sure to text Masson's word of the day, awesome, to 29292 for your chance to win an autographed prize pack from Masson. Brought to you by the Shindig Festival, Godsmack, Stone Temple Pilots, and more on September 19 in Baltimore. Ticketmaster.com. One away, Junior Lake. Lake got one up and delivered a double into the left field corner his last time up. Played AAA for both Norfolk and in the Cubs organization in Iowa, where he hit .311 combined. 7 home runs, 34 RBIs at the AAA level this year for Lake. That pitch will be on the outside corner for a strike. David Price comes in 3rd in innings pitched this year in the American League, 4th in strikeouts. A workhorse. It's a lot of innings in. 1 ball, 1 strike. Can hardly tell the difference between his set position with runners on and his windup position.
Yeah, a lot of starters going to that. Now too much extra movement when you lift the hands over the head. Things can go out of whack with your body. So Chris Tillman's done this, and David Price adopted it a few years ago. Of course, Tillman and David Price very good at controlling the running games.
1-2 delivery on the way, and that'll be up high. Toronto has not lost consecutive ball games since August 15. They lost 2 in a row on the 14th and 15th. That's the only time since August 1 they've lost 2 consecutive games. Tulowitzki. Blake can fly, but he got him. 2 down. Next Sunday, September 13th game at Oriole Park against the Royals moved from 1:35 to 8:05. It'll be a nationally televised game on ESPN. You can join the Birds under the lights for the national stage and a rematch of the ALCS. Get your tickets 888-848-BIRD or at Orioles.com. That's next Sunday. Night game, not a day game. Janisch flied out his first time up. Paul Janisch will take the pitch for a strike. Paul with one of the great gloves in the game. His 438th major league game, and a lot more in the minors. Came up August 25, 95 games with the Tides, hit .235.
He only made 4 errors though at shortstop. Best fielding percentage for a shortstop in the International League.
1-1 delivery down to third base, fair ball, long throw, Donaldson. So the infield on the left side has the inning all to themselves. 1-2-3 by Price, 3-0 lead, Jays. The fastball today, about what he's been using. Breaking ball a little over in the changeup, but just another tough outing. He leaves the game 3 runs, 7 hits, 4 innings pitched. So his 2 outings against Toronto have not been good.
Yeah, now it's time for our AT&T call to the bullpen. AT&T, proud partner of the Baltimore Orioles. AT&T mobilizing your world. We're Jason Garcia. Now coming into the ball game, fastball 73% of the time. A good 2-seam fastball working in the mid-90s. Breaking ball 26% of the time, the hard slider. Take a look at his numbers. Been in 15 games. Has picked up a win, 4.24 earned run average. Come down here recently. He's pitched very well with the Orioles. Opponent's hitting just 193 overall.
So Jason Garcia last worked against Tampa Bay on the 31st. Couple of innings. Gave up nothing and had 2 strikeouts in that ball game. Encarnacion with a one-arm swing right there in an 84-mile-an-hour pitch.
Yeah, his hands have been coming off the bat both ball games.
Air show underway, so some screaming Jets. go flying over the open Rogers Center. At least we hope that's what they are. Here's the 0-1 delivery and a strike on the outside corner. All right, Canaccion's been hit by a pitch and he has flied out. So he keeps his streak alive as far as reaching base is concerned. Did it with a walk last night. Gets hit by a pitch in this ball game. Infield shifted on him. Garcia's pitch, and boy, he chased that one. That was a mile away.
You know it's a good pitch when you can get Encarnacion a swing and a slider like this. Throws it hard. It is going straight, just like a fastball. Encarnacion thinking he's trying to bring that two-seamer back. Well, it goes the other way for strike 3. Nice slider from Garcia.
Infield will stay shifted. Tulowitzki has struck out twice. He is 0 for 7 in the 2 games. And he has struck out 5 times in a game and a half here, the first 2 against the Orioles. Garcia with the 0-1 count. Smoke to follow. And that pitch going to miss. 1 ball, 1 strike count. A lot of Orioles pitchers who had been in the minors getting some pretty big chances towards the end of this season. Pitch will be outside. Garcia still 22 years old. He'll be 23 in November, getting his first major league experience this season.
Now, Rule 5 pick. Teams take chances sometimes, but obviously Buck Showalter, Dave Wallace really loved Garcia's makeup. Obviously his arm very good. 95 with the heater there. It was impressive in spring training with his composure. And take a shot, use him in the bullpen. Unfortunately, a setback with some arm problems, but you can see why they like him. Since coming back off the disabled list, he's pitched very well. Good command of his offerings.
2-2 delivery on the way. Will miss outside. So the count goes full on Tulowitzki. The Jays come in 27-24 against opponents in the East. Second best win percentage to the Yankees. Yankees have won 30 against the American League East. And that's going to be hit into right center field. So Tulowitzki is on with a base hit with 1 down here in the 5th inning. He had that big hole over there and he took advantage of it. This copyrighted telecast presented by authority of the Orioles may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Orioles. Infield double play depth and shifted. Smokes had a double and he is flied out.
A lot of communication right now on this Orioles infield. Giannis on the second base side, communicating who's going to be covering on double plays. Giannis probably the main pivot man on every ground ball.
Smoke got out of an 0 for 11 with that double, second inning in his first at bat. Rips it. Is it fair? Yes. It'll bounce off fans. It'll be a ground rule double. So Smoke will go into second base. 2 doubles in the ball game, and with 1 away, there are 2 in scoring position.
Smoke's been aggressive. The fastball's in, turning and burn a couple times. Second double today. Buck in the 3 up for infield depth. Well, that'll bring the infield in.
Orioles have had the infield in goodly number of times in this game. And here's Russell Martin. He has struck out, grounded out. One down, runners second and third, and takes the pitch away. One of the reasons the Yankees have hung on in the East is their number within the division. They are 8 games above 500 against the East. Toronto's 3 games above. The Orioles 28 and 26 are 2 games above. 1-0 pitch on the way. Check swing. Held up on it. Count goes to 2-0 on Russell Martin. The Jays have had a number of chances in this game to really blow the doors off it and just have not been able to get the big hits, and credit Wright for a large part of that. 2-0 delivery on the way. That ball to the middle. Scopes got it. Looks home. No play. RBI for Russell Martin. Tulowitzki off on contact scores. And it's a 4-0 Toronto lead. Toronto, this big power hitting team today, is just chipping away 1 run at a time.
Yeah, good pitch. Good 2-0 pitch. The chopper, though, Jonathan Schoop, the wise decision. Taking that out at first base. Tulowitzki had a nice read over at third, going on contact.
Well, they add another. 1 in the first, 1 in the third, 1 in the fourth, 1 more here in the 5th inning. Goings up, a double and a run scored. 1 for 2 in the ball game. Russell Martin gets his 57th RBI. Runner at second, 2 outs. Goings trying to drive one, fouls it back.
Now Goins ended a 12-game hit streak, so he's feeling pretty confident. He ended it in last night's ball game.
Jays now 3 for 10 with runners in scoring position in the game. They've stranded 6. 0-1 delivery in the air to the gap. Adam Jones, no chance. That ball's going to travel to the wall and another ground rule double. Smoke will score. RBI for Goings and a 5-0 Toronto lead.
Dave Wallace out to stop the bleeding right now. Buck Showalter really concerned about these add-on runs, especially where this Orioles offense has been going last couple of days. One swing, get the Orioles right back in it. But the Blue Jays starting to stretch it out here. Another ground rule double. Going, staying on this and driving it deep. 1 hop out over the wall. Another RBI.
This is where the expanded roster comes into play. Last night the Orioles had Gibbons, O'Day, and Drake work out of the bullpen. Garcia working here in the 5th inning. And the Orioles will have to keep that bullpen warmed up again. Rondon warming up in the bullpen. Pilar already 2 singles and a run scored. He's got 4 hits and 6 at bats in these 2 games. He's hitting about .350 right now in the year against the Orioles. Runner at second in the big cut. 0-1. Pilar, a bit old-fashioned in the sense he truly does adjust during his at bats. When he first comes up and he's ahead on the count, he'll take the big cut. He'll try and drive the ball, but once it gets to be a couple of strikes, he changes everything. He just tries to punch a ball through, lob one to right or left, and we've seen him do that here in the first 2 games of this series. The way it used to be done, a lot of hitters won't do that anymore. They continue the big swings with 2 strikes.
Yeah, I mean, he definitely makes an adjustment when he gets to 2 strikes. Done that a number of times already in this series. Battling some tough pitches for base hits. Good things happen when you put it in play.
Goings on at second base, 2 away. 0-2 delivery. And had to reach way out for that one. Garcia gets the strikeout, his second, but a couple of runs in. Done on 3 hits, 1 left on. Arjondadua, Machado, Parra, and Jones. repeating. He said, I've always heard that with teams, the players will adapt to the personality of the manager. I found out that's not true. They are who they are. You have to adjust to them.
Yeah, I think that holds true, really, nowadays. It seemed like games kind of changed a little bit in that regard.
His Mets 5 games up in the Nationals. You take a look up top, CN Tower. The folks who get to go out there, you pay to do that. Can you believe that? Now, if you paid me a real lot of money, maybe I'll go out there and stand latched to the very top of the CN Tower with those straps. While the Jets are flying by, what do you think that feels like? A little bit of a rumble? Does it move a little? No? It's fine?
We're going to find out, Gary. I got us tickets.
You got
after
tickets?
The game. Yes, I did.
Okay. Can we eat out there?
Yeah, absolutely.
Have a meal, bottle of vino. Pitch is fouled back by Manny Machado, who's trying to walk and has slide out. Speaking of Terry Collins, his Mets, of course, battling for that division title. 5 games up on the Nationals, with the Nationals playing better ball. Saw a story that unfortunately Terry has to live with from previous years. He has had ball clubs who have had bad Septembers. He was manager of the Astros in '96. September, first place, 2.5 games. They finished 8-17, 6 out. 97, the Angels, second place, 1 game deficit, September 1, 6 games out. They went 10-15 to end the year. 98 with the Angels. They entered September in first, 3-game lead. They went 9-15, finished 3 games out. There's those Jets we were talking about. Yikes. Air show going on over the lake. The Snowbirds.
Yeah, Snowbirds.
Stepping out, Manny Machado.
Well, this Orioles offense needs to start doing something here to disrupt David Price's rhythm. He has settled in, throwing a gem right now against the O's.
Oh my! Look what I got! Thank you.
Wow. That might have been the one to disrupt the rhythm, but see the Blue Jays fans loving David Price. Machado, nice approach, hard to the middle. And there it is, sticking in the glove.
Turned to Donaldson, said, see, I can do that.
Yeah.
That's called a hard out. Manny Machado retired. Here's Parra. He's flied out, grounded out. 1 away. 6th inning. Parra will take the pitch for a strike. Broken bat, second base. Goings. 2 down. As promised earlier in the game, we've selected the Data Strong fan photo of the game. Tweet your strongest fan photo to O's Couch Cam, and you might see yourself in an upcoming broadcast brought to you by T-Mobile. Great shot. Summer shot. Warm weather back in the Baltimore area. Hope those of you who are lucky enough to be at the beach or lake or riverfront having a great weekend on this holiday weekend with fall around the corner. Adam Jones has drawn a walk and struck out. And the pitch inside for a ball. Orioles have only 2 hits. Davis had a single in the 2nd inning. Junior Lake picked up a double. That was in the 3rd. There have been 2 walks. Those are the Oriole base runners. 1-0 pitch. And Jones will take it outside for a ball. 9 in a row have been retired by Price. Third time through the lineup. 2-0, foul back. Adam off the fist.
Let's see, Mr. Consistency. Yeah, Adam Jones, last 5 seasons. See the numbers here. Starting back in 2011. 25 home runs this year. Reached that 25 home run spot in last night's ball game. Manager's dream here. We can book these numbers and count on him as Buck Showalter's done here past 5 seasons. Only one other Oriole has had a streak like that. Cal Ripken did it 6 years in a row. Back it was 82 to 87 when Cal did it.
Jones will back out. Adam has never had a home run off David Price in 48 at bats. The only pitcher he's seen more of with not a home run is John Lester. 59 ABs against Lester without a homer. 2-1 delivery on the way and came back inside. A nasty jam shot at 95. 2-ball, 2-strike count.
He is aggressive in there with the heater. Adds more velocity coming in there, and Adam Jones trying to get him out of there in a hurry. Then cutting it in there, four-seaming the fastball in there, and he's opened up the outside corner by doing that. Got good command of the changeup when he throws it.
Adam, 4th best average in day games in the league at 347. 2-2 delivery to him. Thought about it. And the count goes full. 3 balls and 2 strikes. So often this has been the case for the Orioles this year. You have a big night last night, 10 runs, 13 hits, and then the Orioles will come right back and have a game like this. It's David Price after all, and have only a couple of hits. But you got to beat them all to win. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Pitch on the way, and Jones gets a piece. And we'll hold the count at 3-2.
Well, the Orioles have had some success off David Price, so it's not like he does it every time, but certainly in for a battle. You know, you got to have your A game, and you have to make him work and wait out some mistakes, but he hasn't made many in this ball game.
Gave up 1 run, 6 hits in his other outing this year over 7 innings. Took the loss, however. The Orioles had a 3-0 win. Jones the other way, and a souvenir. Count stays full. 3 balls, 2 strikes. 46,000 plus here last night. That many, maybe more today. They are sellout crowds for the rest of the year here in Toronto, where the team has gone 45-25 at home. Fans wanting a strikeout. 3-2. Another one tipped foul.
Adam Jones doing a nice job to disappoint this crowd, fouling off some nasty pitches. A couple cutters in there under the hands, just getting a piece of. Whistled off a 96-mile-an-hour fastball down and away.
Three-2 delivery again. And there's the strike. Retires the side in order, gets his 6th strikeout. Orioles gone here in the 6th inning, and a 5-0 Jays lead.
inning. Batista gets the Jays on the board. A solo shot on the hanging breaking ball. And then in the fourth, Revere. C&I single driving in Ryan Goins. Blue Jays offense is clicking, and the Price, is right. David Price has been phenomenal since coming over to the Blue Jays, and he is controlling this Orioles offense, who has been outstanding the last couple games. Orioles only 2 hits in the game. Geico 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. Visit geico.com for a free rate quote. And Jorge Rondon into the ball game. Fastball 69% of the time. He's got a good heater as well. Works in the mid to high 90s with the fastball. The hard slider 24% of the time, and the change 7%. 11.88 earned run average. Only worked 8 1/3 innings. 4 strikeouts, 4 walks, but has given up the 15 hits.
So Rondon on for Garcia. He worked an inning, gave up 2 runs, 3 hits, no walks, and a couple of strikeouts. Starter, Wright, 3 runs, 7 hits, 4 innings. Bottom half of the 6th, and here's Ben Revere, the leadoff batter. And he will take it for a strike. Revere, an RBI base hit in the 4th inning. Bautista, a homer, 2 RBIs. Revere, an RBI. Goins, an RBI. And Martin, Russell Martin, the catcher, RBI. 0-1 delivery. And he'll watch that one away. Wild card race games. The Orioles watching the Texas and Angels series out in Anaheim. Texas has won 15 of their last 21 games. Angels have won their last 3. That ball belted to Parra. Revere retired, 1 down. Well, you can show your orange and black as the Birds host the Red Sox for the final time 2015 3-game midweek series. Monday, September 14 it starts, and on Tuesday it's a Back Your Birds night with Ollie's Bargain Night, presented by Ollie's Bargain Outlet. All upper reserves $10. Tickets at Orioles.com or 888-848-BIRD. Donaldson 0 for 2 and a walk. Looking for his first hit of the series. He is 0 for 6. Bringing you the air show and the ball game on the lake. 1-0 count. Big crowds in Toronto for the weekend. A lot going on. There's a fan fest next door that had lines outside the door this morning. Manny Machado, broken back ground ball. Donaldson is retired. 2 away here in the 6th inning.
Manny played short in last night's ball game, sliding over to 3rd here. But Showalter finds some stability out there at shortstop with Hardy on the disabled list.
Threw the ball back. Rondon threw the ball in to get a new one. Bautista ducked like he was being thrown at.
Oh, no.
Maybe a sense of humor there after all. Guess you can have that when you've had a home run, a double, and 2 RBIs.
Right.
2 for 3. Bautista on a swing. Mostly his body. Watch him here when Rondon threw the ball back in, and Bautista, it's like, nope.
Like, again?
Throwing at me again, and I'm not even up. 0-1 count with 2 down. Rondon will miss outside with it. 1 ball, 1 strike count. Encarnacion waiting for an at-bat here in the 6th inning. Game simply being dominated by David Price. And Toronto's been able to chip away with a run at a time and build it up to a 5-0 lead on 10 hits. 2 ball, 1 strike count on Bautista.
David Price not giving this Orioles offense really any breathing room. Nothing to make them feel confident up there.
2-1, 2 away. And again, did he go? Yeah. Mike Everett. Bautista not real happy with that one.
A couple times on the slider, just overcommitting. See the whole body turning there, and
that's why the bat ends up across the plate.
The whole body,
because he moves his whole body. He's not really swinging. He's just moving the bat.
If he hits that, it's probably a double in the gap.
Yeah, right. 2-2 delivery on the way, and Rondon gets the strikeout, retiring the side in order. 6 complete here in Toronto. 5-0 Jays. Getting ready to come to the plate here. Having a tough time against Price. In our Major League Notebook on the crush, he's the first player in franchise history with 40-plus home runs 2 seasons for the Orioles. And his 26 home runs against Toronto in the last 4 seasons, the most by any player versus any team since 2009. And Chris Davis continuing to add to some mighty impressive power numbers.
Yeah, still some games left against this Blue Jays team. Add to that total.
Back in 2009, by the way, Ryan Howard connected for 28 home runs against the Braves, which is the 2-homer more higher mark over a similar span of 3 years. Swing and a miss by Davis. He has struck out and singled against Price. Now 6 for 20 lifetime off the left-hander. Orioles are .500 against left-handed starters this year, 17-17, and that is right in the middle of the pack win percentage-wise against lefties in the American League. 1 ball, 1 strike count, and this lefty right now shutting him down and shutting them out. Pierce and Scope to follow. 1-1. That will miss inside.
Talk about these home runs. Worst record without a home run this season. The Reds leading the way, but they're the Orioles, 7-33. Of course, haven't hit a long ball in this game. Blue Jays right behind them at 7-29. They didn't hit a home run in yesterday's ball game. Both teams rely heavily on the long ball. Blue Jays, of course, lead Major League Baseball with 186 home runs, and the Orioles 4th in the majors with 177.
But Showalter commenting this morning favorably towards the Toronto Blue Jays for a team with all that power to keep the strikeouts where they are. Pretty impressive in this day and age. And Davis is on with the 3rd walk surrendered by Price. That breaks a streak of 9 in a row that had been retired. In fact, the last base runner was a walk. That was Adam Jones back in the 4th inning. So the Orioles leadoff man on here in the 7th. Pierce has hit into a double play, and he has struck out. Toronto, the 4th fewest strikeouts offensively in the American League. Buck was talking about this morning. Steve Pearce, he'll pop it up. Martin, no play. Price rocks along so effortlessly in games like this. You don't even, not only don't look at, you don't even think about his pitch count.
Right.
The 81. Steve Pearce, 0-1 count. That's on the inside corner. He has moved it around against all of the Orioles. Pearce in particular, in, out, up, down, all over the place with pitches that have kept the Orioles off balance at the plate. 0-2 delivery on the way. There it is again. He went from in and up to up and away.
Yeah, the 95-mile-an-hour fastball for strike 2. Backs it up with the changeup. 85 away. That has really been how he's been working the righties in this ball game. Showing in, getting hitter conscious of that inside corner, and get exposed away.
Pierce with a 2-strike count, short lead. Davis at first, in the air, center field. Villar is there. 1 down. Davis back. Let me credit Bautista on a play nobody will ever see nor care much about. But for someone who sometimes gets maligned for a play, he saw that Pilar was going to have a little trouble with the sun and really sped over there just in case.
Yeah.
Because he had an eye on the ball, came all the way from right to dead center in case Pilar was not able to find it. Here is Jonathan Schoop. Schoop has struck out, grounded out. That's going to be in there for a strike. It doesn't matter much to Price whether he throws a first pitch strike or not. He pitches, as we say, backwards. Opponent batting average actually a good deal less when it starts out 1-0. 1-0 count, they get 181. If he gets a first strike, they hit 254. And he is 16 out of 24 first pitch strikes today. 1 ball, 1 strike delivery. Tried to jump on that one and fouled it back. 1 down, runner at first, 7th inning, 5-0 lead.
Rip the mask right off Tim Timmons. Take a listen to this. Oof. High cut fastball. Oh, right in the forehead, spinning the mask around.
That's the first tape you get to see at umpiring school. So you want to be an umpire.
Right.
Watch this. 1-2 delivery. We were talking about that. I've talked with Buck a number of times this year. Fans may find this hard to believe if you've not heard it before. Home plate umpires. How many times does an umpire work behind the plate in the course of a year? The answer is 34. The same that most starting pitchers who go through the year uninjured, which means not much. And I'm serious about that. The Major League Baseball maybe needs to consider having a couple of guys on each crew be balls and strike umpires, be paid more. Buck Showalter's talked about that. They don't get enough time behind the plate.
Yeah, good point.
You don't get to know pitchers. You don't get to see it. You don't get the good sense of the strike zone because that's not very often to work behind the plate. 3 ball, 2 strike count. Runner stays at first, and that will be fouled away. Also think they ought to go back to having league umpires rather than just all the umpires moving around the majors. Umpires have a better feel for teams, games, players if they get to see them more. And if they stay in the same league, they have a better chance of doing that. And I think it makes them better umpires.
I agree.
3-2 delivery on the way. Another one popped up, foul territory. Smoke. No play.
Yeah, and it's really it's what you said. They just have a better feel for the teams. They understand what they're going through, and they have better opportunities to make good baseball decisions, in-game decisions.
And I don't think the umpires really care whether they were in one league or going around the majors. They would care about working behind the plate more because it's a tough job.
Yeah.
3 ball, 2 strike count, 1 away. Davis on with a leadoff walk still over there. Three-2 again and walked him. So a couple of walks in the inning, and the Orioles have runners on at first and second base with only 1 away.
Nice at bat there by Jonathan Scope, and pressure mounting right here. Get a couple guys on. You never know. This Orioles offense, the long ball here lately, one out of the park, and they are right back in it.
That walk number 4 equals ties a season high. Price walked 4 against the Angels earlier this year. Only the second time he's given up 4 free passes in a game. Caleb Joseph has struck out, grounded out, 2 on, 1 away. Orioles have had only 2 chances with a runner in scoring position. They're 0 for 2. Mark Lowe has made a tremendous difference in the bullpen for the Jays this year, warming up. Price with an 0-1 count. And a base hit into left field. Ben Revere going to wave him home. Here's the throw to the plate, cut off, and a run scores. Revere does not have an arm out there in left field, and we've seen in this series Bobby Dickerson at third does not hesitate to send guys home. Davis scores. Orioles are on the board 5-1.
Well, Bobby Dickerson knows they got to push it a little bit. Got to make something happen. It is go time now as you enter September. Chris Davis gets the head up. And Bobby Dickerson recognizing Revere's arm. Davis off and running. He runs very well for a big guy.
So the Orioles getting to David Price here in the 7th inning. That leadoff walk to Davis has resulted in a run. Caleb Joseph continues to do what he has done all year, get big hits. That's 47 RBIs that Joseph has put up on the season. Bullpen active now for Toronto. Still only 1 away and a 5-1 game. There's Caleb. His numbers, runners in scoring position this year, came into the game hitting .359. And a lot of that in late inning pressure situations. Here's Junior Lake. Lake a double, and he's grounded out, 2 on and 1 down. Lake will go after the first pitch. It's down and into him. No, here's the Orioles' chance in the 7th inning. Brett Cecil now up along with Lowe. Those two have been outstanding in the bullpen. Runners off first and second base. Inside corner strike.
So Lake thinks he got him out of there after that aggressive swing on the cutter inside. And Price outthinks Lake. Coming right back in with the cutter to get ahead 0-2. This guy, not only does he have quality stuff, but great head on his shoulders, and I think a great reason why. He's been a dominant pitcher in his career.
0-2. Got him. Outside corner strike, his 7th in the ball game.
So a couple cutters inside, and then finishes them off with the cutter on the outside corner. It's the keen instinct. Get into a hitter's head, understand what they're looking for, and locking them up. And the outside cutter.
2 down. Giannis 0 for 2. He has flied out and grounded out. Pops that one back. 0-1 count on Paul Yanish. Oh, 1-2 away. 2 on. Scope. Joseph. Price trying to work his way through the 7th inning. He throws 100 or more pitches in virtually every start. He's up there around 110, 112. Big chance for the Orioles. And Yanish will foul that one back, same place, and a 2-strike count.
Yeah, if they can push one more run across the plate, might be able to run him and get into this Blue Jays bullpen. See this season, 27 starts, averaging 106.5. Season high 121, 99 in this ball game.
Oh, 2 delivery by Price. 1-2 on Yanish. Hits 100 on the pitch count. As you see, this is the inning where he's had to work the hardest. Two down. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Yanish down the line and right. Late on all of these swings, but fouling them off, and holds the count at a ball and 2 strikes.
Just keep battling. Do something good. Hope for a mistake. Something hard in play.
Watching a pitcher, and a real good one, trying to finish off an inning which will probably be his final inning of the game. Trying to find a way to get the 3rd out. And Yanish trying to prevent it. 1-2. Back. Martin jumping up on the screen. No chance. Good haircut, though.
Pretty good effort. That ball actually stayed in play, huh?
Yeah.
Came up
Hit
there.
the screen on the way down.
Yeah. Take a look at this effort here by Martin, picking up the baseball and then jumping up, try to take it off the screen. That's getting pushed back.
Not easy to do with that equipment on.
No.
Real good battle. 1-2, 2 on. Orioles lead 2. 7th inning stretch time. Blue Jays lead it 5-1. By Miller Lite.
Take a look here. Caleb Joseph picking up the clean single through the 5-6 hole. Chris Davis on his horse as Bobby Dickerson waves him around, and the O's on the board. Caleb stays hot with runners in scoring position.
Fans settle back in with a 5-1 Jays lead. Rondon will stay on the mounds. Retired the side in order in the 6th. Encarnacion, Tulowitzki, and Smoke here in the bottom half of the 7th inning. Jays are 5-10-0. The Orioles 1-3-0. 7 left on by Toronto, 5 by Baltimore. Encarnacion, after his first hit, 0 for 5 in the 2 games. Hit by a pitch, just nicked him on the elbow in the 3rd. Hit the armor, so no damage. Laces that one to right. Parra right there. Well, your favorite Orioles are back with their favorite dogs and cats. It's the 2016 Orioles Pet Calendar. Proceeds benefit the Barks Foundation, the Baltimore Animal Rescue and Care Shelter. They're available, the calendars, at Oriole Park, the official team store in York, PA, or you can order your copy at Orioles.com/pet calendar. 16-month calendar, by the way. More dogs. Troy Tulowitzki, base hit, has struck out twice, scored a run in the 5th inning. Bautista's had 2 RBIs, a home run, a double. Goings has had a couple of doubles. RBI has scored a run. Ben Rivera's had an RBI. They've helped up and down the lineup offensively in this ball game. Orioles starter Mike Wright, 3 runs, 7 hits over 4. Then Garcia came on, 2 runs, 3 hits in an inning. Now Rondon working in his 2nd inning. Aaron Sanchez in the bullpen. One ball, 1 strike, going away. Oh. I can do that too, David Price.
Only Rondon throws the ball around the infield.
Yeah.
See? He's not surprised. Ooh, nice positioning with the glove right there. My goodness.
So we've had 2 pitchers on 2 shots right back at him, but because both Price and Rondon tend to finish square, they're balanced to make the play.
Yeah, well, I think there's a lot of luck involved with those comebackers there. Didn't have to move his glove.
Here is Justin Smoke, 2 doubles, and he's flied out. Rondon's pitch will skim the plate. One 0 delivery on the way, will be taken outside for a ball. Cliff Pennington has been thrown out of the ball game for the Jays. Isn't even in the game. Sometime back when Chris Davis threw a walk in the 7th, Pennington apparently said or did something over there on the bench, and he got heaved.
Huh. Heck.
Have no idea. And John Gibbons just watching. Chris DHing today, scored that run in the 7th with that leadoff walk. 2 down, nobody on. 2 ball, 1 strike count. Smoke. Jonathan Scope, shallow right field on the shift, and that's where the ball is going to be hit. 6 up and 6 down against Rondon, and that completes 7 here in Toronto. 2nd game of the 3-game set. 5-1 Jays.
But another quality start. It's coming over with the Blue Jays there. The breaking ball to get Adam Jones up at the high heater. Scope goes down. Command of all of his pitches. Another breaking ball to get Joseph. Cutter gets Davis. Fastball up and away to get Pearson. Heater to get Lake. And how about a breaking ball to finish up his outing? Take a look at that pitching line. 7 innings, only 3 hits given up. 1 earned run. That base hit by Caleb Joseph. 4 walks, 8 punch outs for David Price. And now it's time for a little relief for your car too. Visit Jiffy Lube for regular oil changes and help prevent damage and wear to your engine. Jiffy Lube, drive in today. While Aaron Sanchez coming out of the bullpen. He's moved into the 8th inning role. One-time starter for this team, has fit in nicely in the pen. The fastball, dominant cheese, 94 to 98 with the fastball as a curveball, slider, and the changeup. 29 games, he had 11 starts, 305 earned run average, picked up 6 wins. Opponents hitting .218 overall.
And he'll go to work against Manny Machado. Machado has a 1 for 8 lifetime of Sanchez. 0 for 2 in the ball game, 1 for 6 in the 2 games. Manny drew a walk, stranded in the 3rd inning. 1-0 pitch is there. So Price leaves the game with a chance to win his 100th against 56 losses in his career. Sanchez delivery, a check swing. That's a strike. And Manny Machado behind on it, 1-2. Sanchez, 4th game against the Orioles. The other 3 as a starter this year. Went 1-2 with a 6.28 ERA. The Orioles touched him up for 10 runs on 16 hits and 14 in the 3rd inning. So his first relief appearance against the Orioles.
Yeah, just 23 years old. I've known about his big arm. Didn't know how it was going to fit in the starting role, and there were some command problems.
To the middle, off goings, and on at first base is Manny Machado. It'll be a base hit. So Manny gets a single here in the 8th inning, and the Orioles again get the leadoff man on base.
Good piece of hitting there by Manny, taking it right back through the middle. Fortunately, Goins can't come up with it. Nice little effort there on the backhand side. See, right back through the box. Goins a nice little jump, but maybe a little over boogieing on the backhand. Catches him on the heel.
Orioles get hit number 4. Parra 0 for 3 in the ball game. That's off his foot.
96-mile-an-hour fastball. Gearing up for. Sees the pitch he wants, squares it up, but drives it right down off that front foot. Limps away and then limps back into the box.
I'm waiting for the first time the home plate umpire asks a player, "Are you okay?" For the player to say no. They always say they're okay. 0-1 count on Parra. He'll put that one up in the air. Left. Then Revere. Parra with an 0 for 4. And a bruised foot. That'll bring Adam Jones to the plate. Adams got an 0 for 2 and a walk, 2 strikeouts. Full house, relatively quiet today because Price has so dominated the game. And Toronto's offense, while effective, not explosive in this game. So it's just been a pretty grinded out kind of ball game, and Toronto's got the 5-1 lead. Jones 0 for 8 off Sanchez. He'll foul off the first pitch. TJ McFarland in the bullpen. Adams starting in September with a couple of hits and 14 at bats.
Yeah, but I'm a grinded out season for Adam Jones. Beating up his body. Continues to play hard, but you know he's full of aches and pains.
One delivery on the way is going to miss outside. Manny Machado continues to be at the top in games played. He's been in all of them. In this day and age, there aren't many players who end up going through a season having played in all of the team's games. Buck Showalter was talking about that this morning, that Manny needs a break from time to time. Goins. Double play, only 3 face, no runs, 1 hit, no errors, nobody left on base. A 5-1 Blue Jays lead. You by the Maryland Fire Chiefs and Maryland State Firemen's Associations. Email mdfirevolunteer@gmail.com to volunteer with your local fire, rescue, and EMS. Gary Thorne and Mike Bordick here at Rogers Center in Toronto. Jays have a 5-1 lead. The Orioles again to the bullpen.
You've Garcia, Rondon, and here's T.J. McFarland's turn out of the pen. The fastball 72% of the time. Good two-seamer. A lot of ground balls with the fastball. Breaking ball has a sweeping slider, and then the change. 4.28 earned run average. 19 punch-outs in 27 1/3 innings of work. For T.J., 14 walks given up, holding opponents to a .310 batting average with the lefties. Just .218 off T.J., and there's a look at the ground ball percentage. 60% of his outs on the ground.
Russell Martin will lead it off against him. Bottom third of the order, Martin, Goings, and Pilar. Martin has an RBI and a ground ball out, 0 for 3 officially in the game. Tell you about Manny Machado in games played. This is the 135th game for Manny. He and Kyle Seager of Seattle are the only two who have played in all of them. Kevin Pillar, Toronto's only a game behind them. Donaldson's been in 132 games. And Chris Davis has played in 132 ball games. 1-0 count on Martin. Breaking ball will miss down low. Bottom half of the 8th inning. Toronto trying to put on some of those all-important late inning runs. Martin hitting .291 off left-handers. That's 60 points higher than righties. Will take that pitch for a strike. Orioles fell behind on the Bautista home run in the first, and by the time they got a run, it was a 5-0 ball game. The RBI by Caleb Joseph came in the 7th inning. 2-1 pitch. 2-2. Finds the strike zone.
Nice breaking ball there from TJ. Good finish on the end. Even surprised Caleb Joseph how much that ball broke and got back in. Pick up that outer third.
And it surprised Russell Martin. Comes back inside, will miss. Good job by Rondon, who retired all 6 batters he faced with 1 strikeout. Garcia, 2 runs, 3 hits an inning. The first reliever. 3 ball, 2 strike count. That'll hold the count full. Right back with you tomorrow, Sunday, day game. Change in starters. The Orioles will not see Mark Burley. Marco Estrada will make the start against Chris Tillman. 12:30 O's extra, 1 o'clock for the game. And the Orioles head to New York for a Labor Day game. 3-2 delivery and a swing and a miss. McFarland gets him. Good location.
Yeah, nice change up right here from TJ. A couple good secondary pitches to get Martin. Nice breaking ball in this at bat. That late movement throws it off the 2-seam fastball, 85 miles an hour, and gets Martin out in front. A bit too big there for the first out.
That'll bring Goings to the plate. Goings has had a .312 average over the last 28 ball games played. He's added to it with 2 doubles, 2 for 3. RBI and a run scored in this game. So Goings right now off to a good start in September for the Toronto second baseman. McFarland's delivery to him, swing and a miss. Mind was willing, but the body was weak as he bailed out on a pitch he thought was going to come inside.
Yeah, he took enough off that pitch. Gets him out in front, located very well in the bottom of the zone. TJ's been on that up and down ride. Another
Same thing.
Yeah.
Good play. Tag made by Joseph, and there are 2 down.
3 pitches. Making easy work here with the slider down in the bottom of the zone, and Goins pulling off that. Not happy with the swing at all. 2 Ks for TJ.
2 down, bottom of the 8th. Pilar, 2 singles, run scored. He is 2 for 3 in the ball game. DJ McFarland, just his second outing against Toronto, worked only a third of an inning earlier. Pitch down low for a ball. Orioles in the 9th. Davis, Pierce, Jonathan Scope will be due up. 1-0 delivery. Pilar reaches to short. Yanish is there, and that will do it. 3 up, 3 down. Orioles 3 outs to work with. 9th inning coming. 5-1 Jays lead. Jason, brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Book your low fare now at southwest.com. And by Coons.com. When you're talking cars, you're talking Coons. Beautiful day here in Toronto. Not so good for the Orioles. A 5-1 Jays lead, looking to set up a rubber match for the Sunday game.
Now they go to the bullpen again. Brett Cecil coming into the ball game. Take a look at his pitch arsenal. The fastball 55%, still very good heater. Throws it in the low 90s. Has an outstanding curveball and the change. 316 earned run average, 47 punchouts, 13 walks in 42 2/3 innings of work, and only opponents to a 223 overall batting average. Brett Cecil, of course, from Dunkirk, Maryland, went to high school at DeMatha High School in Maryland, went on to University of Maryland, and was the 38th overall pick by the Blue Jays back in 2007. And he has been a mainstay in this bullpen. The Blue Jays now 5 years in the big leagues.
Chris Davis leading it off. A base hit, a walk, strikeout, has scored a run. 1 ball, 1 strike count. Cecil's working on a major league high. No runs, 23 games, 20 innings. That is the longest scoreless streak right now in the majors, and matches his previous high set 2 years ago. Pitch on a check swing, fouled away, and a 1 ball, 2 strike count. Cecil lost the ball game against the Orioles earlier. This is his 6th appearance. Does have a save in 1 opportunity. Has given up 7 runs, 7 hits, and 4 1/3 against the O's. 1-2 pitch. 1 down.
That's his best pitch right there. The breaking ball. Cecil, one-time starter, so he's got all the weapons, and they're burying the 86-mile-an-hour curveball. See him get on top, and the sharp bite down to the bottom of the zone.
One away, and Pierce 0 for 3 in the ball game. Cecil's delivery to him. That's going to be in there for a strike. David Price will get the win. 7 innings, 1 run on 3 hits. He'll be 14-5 in the year. 8-4 lifetime against the Orioles, and will win his 100th game. Mike Wright will take the loss. The Orioles starter will go to 2-4, barring a major comeback here. Not a save situation. 1 ball, 1 strike count. Over the top on that one. 1-2.
That curveball is nasty. His favorite off-speed pitch. Now that he's ahead, if Pierce sees it again, it'll probably be bounced in the dirt. That was a little harder. That put-away pitch.
Foul back. The Rays leading the Yankees in the 7th inning, 3-2. They've had a seesaw game in that one. The Jays started the day a half game ahead of the Yankees for the division lead. Pierce will take it on the bounce. And apparently it did hit the bat. 1 ball, 2 strike count. Way out in front, fouls that one off. Pierce has faced Cecil only once, 1 for 1 against him. 1 ball, 2 strike count. We're going with 2-2 on the count. I think Pierce was a little concerned too. He was looking back. Martin was trying to claim a foul ball on the pitch before. 2-2 delivery on the way, and that's up. 3 ball, 2 strike count. Steve checking with the home plate umpire, and the home plate umpire is checking with the scoreboard, saying there's the count. 3-2. No. 2-2. It is 2-2. So it was a foul ball. 2-2 delivery on the way, and Pierce will pop that one up. Going back. Goings called off. Bautista. Fashionably late. 2 down.
And he says, my fault. And Goins got back there and waved the arm, so he was camping, but Bautista taking charge, calling him off, ends up making kind of a semi-spectacular play there.
He'd sooner have just gotten under that and caught it.
Right.
2 down. Jonathan Schoop 0 for 2 and a walk. Orioles a run on 4 hits. After last night where they got 10 runs on 13 hits. Shut down by David Price, Aaron Sanchez, and now Cecil. Limited so far to a 4-hit ball game. Schoop will take the pitch up high for a ball. Schoop 0 for 1 off Cecil. 1-0 delivery on the way. In the air to center. Ball game over. So the rubber match is set up for tomorrow. David Price wins his 100th. The Jays won it by a score of 5-1. And tomorrow we'll see if the Orioles can get a win for a series win against the Jays.